For 98-year-old Mike Gomez, a World War II veteran, these are precious moments in life, moments filled with memories of life, family, and patriotism. He recalls his childhood, growing up in the Grand Park area of Phoenix, Arizona.
The first grammar school was Grant School. That school was only up to 4th grade. You know, so we were young.
Right.
That's we had to go. That was the district. Then from there we went to Lowell School.
Lowell School, yes.
And then I graduated from Lowell School. That was from 4th grade on to 8th grade.
Mike Gomez was a junior at Phoenix Union High School when he was drafted. He was 17 years old.
I joined ROTC in Phoenix Union High School, which was at that time the only high school. And because it was during Depression time too, you know. So I didn't have to buy clothes. I got a uniform.
Right.
Yeah, so
you joined ROTC, and then after that?
After that is when my next episode from there was working part-time and being in high school and working through there, which I worked, which Diamonds at that time was called Diamond. I was a stock boy.
What was it that made you decide to join the service?
I didn't decide. I was requested by the government.
Oh, okay. So you were
Drafted.
Okay.
Yes.
In World War II, for World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And you were drafted. What was your MO?
My MO? I was a clerk.
Clerk.
A clerk.
Mike Gomez served as a company clerk for the 4th Armored Division. He says he was trained for combat after the Pearl Harbor attack. The 4th Armored Division was universally recognized as Patton's best, famous for their role in relief of the 101st Airborne Division during the Battle of the Bulge. Gomez was among the 16 million Americans who served during World War II. Of those, less than 300,000 are alive today, and hundreds die every year. Mike Gomez witnessed some extraordinary feats of faith, luck, and skill. He survived one of the deadliest wars. World War II lasted 6 years, from 1939 to 1945. It involved more countries and cost more money and killed more people than any other war. It claimed over 60 million lives and was responsible for the horrors of the Holocaust and Pearl Harbor. It is no wonder those who fought in that war are considered our greatest generation. Among Mike's most memorable experiences is D-Day.
And we got into a big ship right there was landed. So we slept there overnight on deck. Then we knew we were going to start on the invasion. So from that ship, we had to climb ropes and down the ship to get it on the landing boats, you know, to get on them. And then when we were in the water going across, we knew we were in a war. You know, of course, we knew that the war was on, you know, so that's how I landed in Omaha Beach. That was the Normandy landings. Omaha Beach was the largest battleship of the Normandy Islands. They were invaded at that time.
He was among the 150,000 Americans, British, and Canadian forces that landed on 5 beaches along a 50-mile stretch of the heavily fortified coast of France's Normandy region.
I had one friend that, I had a couple of friends from Phoenix, as a matter of fact, maybe one or two, mostly California and stuff like that, you know, they were in my troops. So, anyways, I was still, my MOS was still being a clerk, you know, company clerk. But they forgot being that I was a company clerk, with a rifle here and running through the beach and avoiding shells and all this kind of stuff. Regular war. I was on the thick of it. And, water about halfway, and rifle here. I was landed.
Are you surprised that you survived that?
I was very, very surprised. You don't think about being surprised or anything like that because you don't know what the hell you were doing at the time, except fighting a war and fighting the Germans because they were shelling us bad. But what was interesting about it that I still remember, I jumped into a shell hole on the beach. It's just running through the beach. I jumped in there and I found one neighbor of mine that we grew up together in Phoenix. He was in there from another troop. So I stayed with him. His name was Frank Kais. So we put our arms around each other because we're seeing there, right there. I walked out. Matter of seconds, I said, Frank, I've got to go and catch up with my troops, So I got out, boom, they shot that damn hole. He died. So that was quite an experience that stayed in my mind. You can't forget things like that. You don't forget, but God must have been with me.
Mike's daughter, Debbie, has had the privilege of hearing many of her father's war stories. She recalls his stories about the weather and other challenges her dad and others endured.
I remember him saying how cold it was and having to build buffets in the snow to sleep in and build the walls up around you to try and keep the wind out. Being pulled back in the Ardennes forest outside the Battle of the Bulge when General Patton's army was sent in to help the army. I remember that. I remember him talking about fighting in Metz, which was the fortified city of Metz, which I had to look up later to find out what he was actually talking about. And it was an actual ancient fortified city, and it was on the French and German border, so they're on their way into Germany. I remember him talking about the concentration camps, coming through as they had just been liberated, the concentration camps, and smelling the smoke and seeing the smoke still. And to this day, when he and my mom went to do their estate and how you want to be buried and all, and my mom said, oh, I want to be cremated, and my dad said, absolutely not. And she kept saying, well, why not? No. So because every time I think of that, I think about the smell of the burning bodies when we walk through the concentration camps. Oh, well, he did get the award from France. I think in French it's called the Nom de Guerre, which was the Liberty of Freedom medal from France. He has several from all of the major battles he was in, starting when they went through North Africa, going all through France and in towards Belgium for the Battle of the Bulge, coming back out, going towards Germany. You don't hear the stories about the women who stayed behind also and how strong they were. My mother was 16, 17 by the time she had my brother, and she was a Rosie the Riveter, taking the bus out to Goodyear and working in the plants.
Throughout the world, throngs of people hailed the end of the war in Europe.
The end of World War II triggered a worldwide celebration honoring those who served so bravely. Soon after returning home to Phoenix, some veterans were motivated to build an American Legion Post for Hispanic veterans. They were provoked by a wave of discrimination that impacted their lives. When did you get involved with Post 41?
When I came right out of the service.
That was in 1945?
Yes.
1945.
That's when the post started, actually.
Right. And you started helping them build the post?
I helped in establishing the post. I want people to understand that our post was created and started for the benefit of our people in South Phoenix. And so we did that to try to help people.
You as a veteran, World War II veterans, and the other veterans that came from World War II, how do you feel about how they were accepted coming back to America.
Accepted back? Well, I can only talk about myself, but I saw some different things that was happening, you know. With me, I'm the type, and I still am. I'm one of those persons that I accept, let's say, discrimination and stuff like that.
There was a lot of that.
A lot of it, and I can tell you how it happened. We had Luke Field. They were training people from the South, and a lot of them stayed here after the war, you know, being discharged from Luke Field, and that's when we noticed the discrimination. We wanted to have a ability to have something for our returning veterans in South Phoenix. For Latinos. And it was supposed to be just a Latino post.
Mike, the atmosphere then at that time, discrimination, you didn't have a place to
meet
for the Latino Chicano veterans. So they created this place. What do you think of it now?
I think it's one of the greatest places there is, especially for a meeting of the general people, and residing in South Phoenix.